variances. But what they're doing is really just on the Shady Oaks Lane, the 14.8-foot variance is just a cantilever, so there's no foundation work. And that one, the existing setback there is 9.4 feet, so we're not making the nonconformity any greater. The one in the rear, again, the property is nonconforming, and the back setback is nonconforming, so the 3-foot variance is actually the bump out is being built on these 2 masonry walls that are actually retaining an exterior entrance for the basement. So the columns are actually going to be sitting on 2 existing masonry walls that are getting the entrance to the sliding door into the basement. And the third variance was very interesting, actually. It's because of the size of it, it is under the minimum. It doesn't even make the minimum square footage requirements of the house because it was a cottage and it was built so long ago. So the third variance is asking for the house to be considered 2%, 180 square feet less than what the minimum requirements are. So we're really just asking for an improvement to make the footprint of the house a little bit more usable. It's split right down the middle, and we're just actually trying to make some of the spaces a little bit more usable, better closets, better workable space, so they can actually use it and use it as their permanent home. So with that, we're just asking for the request of the relief from the 3 variances, just to add a little bit more square footage to the home.
It is a very unique piece of property.
Yes. Yeah. There's that sliver couldn't even be built. You couldn't even build anything in that little piece that's left over. Yeah.
What did you say, what year did you say the original building was put up?
In 1965. Actually, I'm sorry, they have owned the house since 1965, but it's 1944?
43-ish was when it was built. My parents bought it in 65, and my wife and I bought it 11 years ago.
It's, as Mrs. Zanaskis there at the end said, it is a little bit non-traditional. I mean, it's hard to get on any side of it and recognize what you're in fact seeing.
Correct.
The turn of it and the shape of it, it's tough to get a line on this. Have you had anybody come in yet, and I assume you have because you have plans here, or at least a plot plan, to determine whether or not this work you want to do will be held up by the rest of the house?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, there's only, the contractor has looked at it already. Just a 3-foot cantilever will actually be sistered right into the existing joist and just bumped out right over the foundation. And the footings that are the retaining walls that are on either side of the door are 42 inches deep.
Thank you. Again, this is a bit outside our wheelhouse, so bear with us for a minute.
Sure, absolutely.
Kirby?
I think I'm ready to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, if there are no other questions.
That's good, but let's hang on just a minute. Mr. Cook, do you have anything? Thank you. People poking me in the ribs and I'm not paying attention. Is there anybody here that came to speak specifically to this matter tonight? In the public, the audience? Now's the time. Seeing none, thank you. Thank you and thank you.
I do not.
Mr. Kirby, you have the floor.
In the matter of ZBA case AB 2024-24, Patricia Keller, 385 Shady Oaks, Sidwell number 0910254-001. I move that the petitioner's request for 3 variances from zoning ordinance number 78, zoned R3, Article 6, Section 6.04, 1, a 14.8 front setback variance from the required 30 feet for a home addition cantilever to be 15.25 feet from the property line along Shady Oaks. 2, a 3-foot rear yard setback variance from the required 35 for a bump out addition to be 32 feet from the rear property line. And 3, a 180 square foot variance from the required minimum floor area of 960 for a home to be 780 square feet be granted for plans date stamped received June 2024, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for the variance have been met in this case, in that they set forth facts which show that in this case, the practical difficulty is the non-conforming uniqueness of the lot, and due to the uniqueness of the lot, and due to the time frame when the original structure was built, being in 1943, in order to make the home usable for the petitioner, these variances are required. The following, the variances will, pardon me, a little rusty here. Variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of the substantial property rights possessed by the owner of the property, and does not affect anybody in the surrounding or adjacent area or take away from their property rights.
Discussion?
Oh, and just for the record, the fire department has no concerns at this time regarding these changes either.
Very good. We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Kirby, support by Mrs. Anaskas. Any questions or concerns by the board? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Diane Danaskas, yes. Tony Cook,
Yes.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Tony Kirby,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes, the request is passed. You're on your way.
Thank you.
Good luck, folks.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Next up is 2024-26, Cynthia Papo at 1257 Ridgeview Circle. Sidwell 09-12-427-001. The applicant is seeking 2 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned R1, Article 27, Section 27.05H2. Number 1 is a 28-foot rear yard setback variance from the required 30 feet for a 6-foot fence to be 7 feet from the property line along Orion Road, from the rear property line along Orion Road. And number 2 is a 3-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet for a 6-foot fence to be 7 feet from the side property line to the north. And for the record, the applicant is sitting because it is very difficult for her to stand. Can you introduce yourself, and we'll see if we're getting enough.
I'm Cynthia Papel, and I live at 1257 Ridgeview Circle, Paint Creek Ridge.
Okay, I think you're good. Can you explain to us what happened,
Yes,
why you're here?
yes. My husband and I purchased this house in 2013, and we had 2 homes. I came from West Bloomfield. We didn't sell our house right away, so we did not move in till 2015, June of 2015. I've been living there 9 years. When we bought the home, there was no roundabout. There was a nice easement with some beautiful trees on the easement. I understand that's not my property. And the road commission built a roundabout starting in August of last year, which brought the road much closer to my home. And it's very, very noisy. It starts at 5 or 5:30 in the morning, It's loud on Friday nights and Saturday nights. The only time it's fairly quiet there is when it's either raining hard or it's snowing. The rest of the time, it really gives me a lot of hardship. Plus, the lights from the roundabout are extremely high, and my bedroom and my great room both face the road. And the lights shine right in my place. Besides the noise, the road is way, way closer than it used to be. And as a result of the noise, I don't get much rest. Like one day a week, I'm good for nothing. I just lay around all day long because I'm too darn tired. And when you get woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning or at 5 or 5:30 in the morning, usually don't go back to sleep. And I have a beautiful sunroom, which I have not used since the roundabout was finished. It faces the road. It has beautiful, huge, large windows in it, and I don't go out there anymore. Why would I want to put my blinds up? I'm going to look at the road. So, and I don't impact anybody. There's no one that lives behind me. And the first house coming in, it doesn't really hardly impact them. And I would like to have the fence so that it blocks the light, it blocks the noise. It's going to help a lot. Anything you could do to help me would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, there's some additional information in our packet of information. You hired a contractor.
Yes.
Give me a second. I'll mention public comment in a minute. You're first up. You hired a contractor. Was it your belief you were going to get a 4-foot or a 6-foot?
My belief was I was going to get a 4-foot, and they did a 6-foot. It wasn't their fault, it was whoever did the wood. But the 6-foot works, the 4-foot would not have worked. It was just not high enough. It's on a berm, but it would not be high enough at all. And so they have agreed to finish the fence with the 6-foot, and they're not charging me any extra. And prior to doing the fence, I talked with Chris Barnett, I talked with the road commission, I talked with our HOA. And our HOA has agreed, I think you have a letter in your file, saying they would grant an acceptance and to the neighbor next door because we're greatly impacted by the roundabout. Chris Barnett did all he could, and he couldn't get anywhere with the road commission. The road commission, the person I talked to, was not very friendly at all. She just kept telling me that she lived on a busy road, and I bought my house on a busy road, so I had to live with it. But I had that roundabout been there, my husband and I would not have purchased that house. I lost my husband a little over 2 years ago, and I'm all alone in there now. I don't want to move. I have a daughter that lives off of Green Shield. I have another one that lives at Dutton and Adams, and they both are a great help to me. And I've put in railing on my porch. I've got a shower that I can walk in. I put grab bars in my garage coming into the house. I've done everything so I can remain in my home, and I love my home. But this is making it very difficult for me.
So the 4-foot is off the table.
Yes,
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure of.
yes.
Mr. Kirby.
We do have a letter in our packet, Mr. Chairman, from Pink Creek Ridge subdivision, the HOA there, that does in fact approve of this fence. If you would like, I can read it in its entirety.
Please.
Dated July 29, 2024, to whom it may concern. As a result of the construction of the roundabout at Orion Road and Stony Creek that began approximately August 7, 2023, and was completed in mid-November 2023, the privacy, aesthetic beauty, and acoustic integrity of the 2 residential lots in the Paint Creek Ridge subdivision were severely compromised and adversely impacted. The owners of Lot 2, 1257 Ridgeview Circle, Lake Orion, Michigan, and Lot 3, 1241 Ridgeview Circle, Lake Orion, Michigan, are hereby granted an exception, the Paint Creek Ridge Homeowners Association, number 1, Declaration of Restrictions, Article 2, Section 12B, as noted. Rather than a backyard fence constructed of 4-foot split rail cedar, the Association Board of Directors hereby approves an exception applicable only to the aforementioned properties and lots. A solid wood fence made of cedar not exceeding 6 foot in height may be installed along the back edge of the rear yards of the aforementioned lots. The fence shall be identical in height, color, and composition as illustrated at the right of this document. Maintenance of the fence, if and when installed, shall be the sole responsibility of the homeowners. Once installed, the fences must be maintained in good repair as determined by the association. This exception applies only to Lot 2 and Lot 3 of the association. All other restrictions remain applicable and unchanged. Direct any questions to the Board of Directors at Paint Creek Ridge, HOA1@gmail.com. Regards, Lindsay C. Williams, on behalf of Paint Creek Ridge, HOA number 1, Board of Directors.
Thank you. Mr. Naskis.
I just have a few questions. So on the roundabout, I visited your property. Is it that the lights are coming in as it comes around the roundabout rather than the straightaway?
You know how the new cars all have their headlights on almost all the time? It's shine. I have 2 large windows in my great room. I don't want to have my drapes pulled all the time, and they shine right in there. There's no way, because they're going around right in front of my property. Nothing I can do about it.
And were there any other alternatives that you considered, other types of vegetation, anything?
You know what? If you plant trees, you got to wait for them to grow. I'm going to be 80 soon. I don't have time for trees to grow. I need a fence.
Thank you.
Well, when I was out there to look at your place, you and I stood in the garage for 15, 20 minutes probably. And the thing that I noticed the most is the garage door does not face the street. It runs direction-wise parallel to the street. And it sounded like a lot of folks were really enjoying rolling fast around that roundabout and then flying down to the next one, with mufflers of questionable quality.
Yes.
And
Let me mention
Please.
something else. You know they're doing all the roundabouts on Baldwin Road? All those are 20 miles an hour, and people don't do 20 miles an hour there either. Mine says 15 miles an hour. Nobody does 15. The roundabout is here, and then because Paint Creek is right here, they have another lane, which brings everything closer to me, that brings you into Paint Creek Ridge. Well, it's like they can continue up from Paint Creek Ridge and head up Orion Road, so they just, you know? And when I'm coming into my sub, I got my signal on, and they're almost running me over, and I'm doing 20 or 25, which is not right either, but it shows 15.
Well, it should have been one of the lower traffic times of day when I was out there, middle of the
Yeah.
day. And the noise was still incredible.
Very loud,
It was not something that I would enjoy if I lived there.
no,
And that's just an observation that I made while I was on the property.
right.
Let's give this gentleman straight in front of us here. No?
Contractor, guilty as charged.
But you're all set? You don't have anything? Okay, just a second. Board members, Ms. Kirby, Mr. Naskis.
And I realize this is kind of has the volume of traffic changed since
Yes,
the roundabout was
greatly.
installed?
There's more traffic and it's louder. Because, you know, before, when people came off of Stony Creek Road and they had to make a left onto Orion, they were backed up. Probably they're the people coming off of Paint Creek, off of Stony Creek Road are happiest with the roundabout because they can, you know, continue going. But the traffic is, I'd say 50% heavier.
Thank you.
Ms. Kirby?
I did want to point out as well, Mr. Chairman, that we have 2 letters from neighbors in the area. Jason Earhart, who lives at 1057 River Valley, Lake Orion, in support of the variances, and I am sorry if you're here, I'm going to mispronounce your name. Karagosha. Robert Karagosha, they are in support of it and pretty much back everything she's saying.
Let's ask the applicant to take a break for a minute and get some of the public up that would like to come and speak to this matter.
Okay.
You can probably stay right there, they just swing the mic
Can
over.
go this way.
So anybody who'd like to come up, come on up. Just come on up, introduce yourself, and tell us what's on your mind.
I'm Amanda Karagosian. I live next door. I am Lot 3 next door. I bought our house 2019, right before COVID, right before everything, no roundabout. I have 2 small children. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and a blind dog. That this roundabout has been atrocious for us. People drag race around the roundabout all night long. We've had to call the non-emergency line to have police come out because they are just flying all night long. And with 2 small kids, once you finally get them asleep, it's quite annoying to have them woken up by the loud cars outside. Another anxiety I have, we also, once we saw how beautiful her fence is, we would also like to get one matching in our yard. Once our HOA approved it, we would love to have it as well in our yard. We think it also it looks great from the road, and when the trees are all dead in the winter, we think it'll look great. But also, like with the roundabout, one of our anxieties is people flying around there in the winter, hitting ice. They're now in our backyard. That there's nothing stopping them. The trees have all been cut down. There's nothing really protecting our yard anymore. And with small children and our dog outside, it's one of our big fears is someone just coming into our yard now that all of the trees are gone. And at least if we had a fence, somebody could still come through a fence, but it could at least slow them down and stop the traffic if they were to come through. My bedroom is also facing the road. We have the lights also shining into our bedroom. In our living rooms, we have large windows at the top of our back of our house that there's no blinds or anything up there because they're towards our 9-foot ceilings. So the lights shine from the roundabout into our house all night, all day. It's not enjoyable. We love the fence. We would like our own if allowed because it is very, very noisy.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Normally, variances are granted because there is something about the property that makes it required for a variance to be granted for people to enjoy a substantial property right. In the case of you and your neighbor there, do you believe it is more because something happened near your property that has changed? I won't answer it. You answer it, please.
Well, I think our backyard is not as enjoyable seeing a roundabout one in your backyard. We have a decent sized backyard I have my kids' birthday parties back there. During the building of the roundabout, it was dusty, dirty the entire time, and it'd be more enjoyable to be in our backyard without seeing the roundabout, without having all of the noise from it. We have to talk louder. We don't want to have our music louder. We could enjoy our yard more.
So it's something more that happened nearby that impacted your property and changed what you were able to enjoy?
Yeah,
That was
completely
kind of the
changed.
way I looked at it, too.
Yeah, it changed the whole backyard of our house.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you for coming in. Anything else from the audience? Anybody else? Anything from the audience? Seeing nothing. We'll finish public comment. Board members, Mr. Walker.
Chair, yeah. I don't want to be the Grinch up here exactly. My only concern is if these variants are granted because of the noise of a roundabout solely. I mean, this is the tiniest, other than the one coming off of, right in the village, roundabout imaginable. And we've got roundabouts everywhere. And my concern is if that's the only reason,
That's not the only
Well,
reason.
ma'am, let me talk. You can talk some more.
Okay,
And if you let me finish, you won't be all disappointed what I'm going to
okay,
say.
okay.
My concern is a future precedent-setting kind of thing that we should be very careful when we cobble this motion together to make it specific to this roundabout in this area because of the proximity of the homes, or, I'm not going to tell the motion maker what to do, but just make sure we do it so that everybody that, because nobody's going to be happy with it. Everybody's going to say, the roundabout is loud and noisy, and we don't like it. That was my thought. That's all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
You do,
Ms. Daskis has.
oh, Ms. Danaskis, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I understand that concern in a degree. I think in this case, from the description of what's happening and having gone through this roundabout many times, because of its location, because it's only a three-way, we may have inadvertently created a situation where the racing issue has increased and the volume has increased more than it has on other roads where roundabouts have been installed. So perhaps the location and the fact that it's a three-way has somehow contributed more to that problem. I don't know, but it sounds like that might be an issue.
Can I say something?
Please.
I've traveled the roundabouts on Baldwin, and they all have 2 lanes. And you don't have 2 lanes on ours. You go around in the one, it's a large lane, but it's only 1 lane. There's nobody ever cuts in front of you like they do in the other ones. So I think that's why you're right. They go faster.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Kirby.
Ms. Goodlow's put up a aerial view of this roundabout. As I'm looking at it, cars coming straight in have a direct line through the gap in the trees here into her window, which is also going to allow the decibel levels to travel easier as well. Ms. Goodlow, could you go back just one? This is what it was prior. You don't have that in this setup as you do with the roundabout. So I'm seeing that, in my opinion, and I'm one of 5, and I'm also one of the guys who normally votes no on fences, just to let you know. I actually see a practical difficulty with the design of the roundabout coming in at the angle. Unfortunately for Lot 3, I don't see the same difficulty, because I see all the trees still. But in this one instance, I do see that gap that is there. And that's just, like I said, that's my opinion.
Thank you. If you're expecting a 6-foot fence to cause you to hear less of it, less of the cars, I think you'll be disappointed.
I'm going to see less of it, aren't I?
That's the important part.
Yes.
I just would like you to go away with, if you're
Right.
successful, with a good expectation of what might happen.
Even if it's less light, it'll be a great help to me.
Thank you.
And I will use my sunroom.
Mr. Cook, you have anything? Well, if we don't have anything further up here, time for a motion or further discussion, whichever the board would like.
You're a dog. Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Kirby,
I think I'm ready to make a motion.
take your time.
Give me just a moment, I'm in unfamiliar waters with this one. In the matter of ZBA case AB 2024-2 pardon me, Cynthia Papel, thank you. 1257 Ridgeview Circle, Sidwell, 0912427-001. I move that the petitioner's request for 2 variances from zoning ordinance number 78, zoned R1, Article 27, Section 27.05, H2, 1, a 28-foot rear yard setback variance from the required 35-foot for a 6-foot fence to be 7 foot from the rear property line along Orion Road, and 2, a 3-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10-foot for a 6-foot fence to be 7 feet from the side property line north be granted for plans date stamped received July 9th, 2024. The petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variance have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, the unique nature of the roundabout at this specific location has caused a practical difficulty that was not self-created by the homeowner, and that it is allowing lights that were not previously coming in to penetrate into the yard, causing a lack of ability for the homeowner to enjoy the substantial property rights possessed by the homeowner there. And because of that very unique, and I want to stress very unique in this one roundabout situation and on this property line, with the gap that was present prior to the roundabout being put in and after the roundabout being put in, that allows for this unique stance.
For the motion maker, and it is totally up to the motion maker. Should the fact that this is a 3-turn and not a 4-turn, not a traditional roundabout, be included? Maybe not, whatever you want to do.
No, I believe you're absolutely correct. The unique nature of this roundabout and it being a 3-turn, I would like to amend where the uniqueness of this roundabout is it's a 3-lane, not a 4-lane.
Very good. Support is amended also. Yes, sir. We have a motion by Mr. Kirby with support by Mr. Cook. Any discussion further by the board? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Tony Cook,
Yes.
John Walker,
Yes.
Diane Danastis, yes. Tony Kirby,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes. Motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
That's a sound we never hear.
Yeah, I was going to say. That didn't hurt as bad to make a motion for a fence as I thought it would.
Only for this fence.
Only for this one.
Careful, this is gonna-
Put together your comment and then the way he rolled the motion out. That worked well. Next, we have public comment. Anybody that's left want to say anything about anything? Come on up to the mic and introduce yourself.
Well,
Not that
my
easy.
name is Dee Gordon, Delia Gordon, and I live off of Baldwin, so I have 5 roundabouts. But Cindy's is terrible. I mean, we're lucky because Baldwin Road is commercial. It's not getting in any, but hers, she has bought special screens to put on the inside of her porch to help keep out the light. She has done everything that she could do, but she can't stop the drag racing and the lights and that from coming into her house and disturbing her
Tried to
like
use a
it does.
checkered flag on the car when you went by.
I'm ready to go out there and you're gonna get a ticket. But no, and it's really great that you passed it so she could finally get some rest.
We try to be understanding if we can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lil Hutchison. I'm a friend of Cindy's, and I just want to say that through all this, it's been pretty traumatic, but everybody at the township that she's talked to in the zoning department has been very, very helpful, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Okay, next, do we have anything additional? Seeing none.
You gotta go home.
Next, we have communication and education. Unless I missed it, there isn't anything included this time. Yeah, I got that in this hand. I talked over, and you guys probably did too, I talked over with Lynn, they're still trying to tweak the format for the motions.
Ladies, the meeting's still going on.
Ladies,
We're still in an open meeting.
Could you go out in the hallway and talk, please?
Thank you.
We're still working.
Thank you.
Not a problem. She's working with Tammy to tweak these motions. The current format is a bit cumbersome, a bit, yep. We're trying to word it so, well, you can read it same as I can. You've got it in your information, but they are still working on it. Committee reports. Any library business that we need to be?
We had our walk-in book sale outside last Saturday and did okay again, so
Good.
hopefully in September, we'll be back to our inside, full-time book sales.
Good.
So thank all of you that buy books from the library.
Committee reports, we don't have any. Member comments, anybody have anything to say? Nobody?
Just wanted to make a comment about the library post fire. It is, they did a really good job, and then I went and discovered the new section where you can check out the various tools and also lots of games, the high-dollar games, so that was really, really neat, so nice addition.
I was in charge of most of that.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Well, good. I don't have anything. If no one has anything additional. Move to adjourn. So moved. Support? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? We're out. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.